Hi, it's Obo1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Xbox One. And today I'm just heading to the CG to put in a little cameo appearance on the last night. So this was on Wednesday this week. With the new CG is actually a cargo CG, but last week's CG was a bounty hunting one. And I don't think many of the Dark Marauders made an appearance down there. I went down there just for the last little bit. Ironically, I just missed somebody who's been moaning about me avoiding him. Which is hilarious. Him and Frodo managed to kill each other just before I arrived, and then he didn't come back round. So hey, not a problem. Didn't see him. Saw a few lawfuls. Shot a few lawfuls. There were a lot more non-lawfuls than lawfuls. A lot of Cumo crew up here. There's me and a wing here with Brown Nugget Mining and 7th Legion, and there was a lot of Cumo crew. Spare Ration was up here. And Josh OG Kush, so a couple of members of Cops. I spent a lot of time shooting at Spare Ration's Corvette pointlessly in a phasing number, which I'm not going to bring to you because it was, well, I'm going to bring to you a little bit of it, but I spent a long time shooting at him and ramming him over and over again until he got bored and left, because it's kind of one of them. But yeah, no, so I just came up here, had a bit of fun. It was a cameo appearance because I hadn't been at the CG all week. I've been busy. I've had stuff to do, and it was actually before I got COVID. So yeah, I came down with COVID Monday night. So Monday night, I got home from work, had a bite to eat, and then boom, I just started feeling really ill. Tuesday wiped out. Wednesday felt a little bit better. Went to the CG, and yeah, so. And today is Thursday, and I thought, I'll do some video voiceover. It's going to sound bad, so I apologise for that. It's not a lot I can do about it, but I thought I'd rather do a video where I sound croaky than not do a video at all. And I thought I'd bring you some nice footage of the CG, because it is one thing we all kind of questioned, and FDev said the game would carry on as it was, and that means we get Galnet, we get CGs, we get stuff happening, which at least will keep the game a little bit alive. Already tonight the new cargo CG's been relatively busy. This CG was pretty busy all week. There were quite a few commanders down here, killing each other. There was a good amount of lawful shooting non-lawfuls, all good. PvP fun. So the game has still got a little bit of life in it, even though FDev have effectively not giving us any future updates. It has been a bit of a odd time. I must admit, I didn't play the most the week after the news came out. There was the motivational issues, just really, it's been a bit of a struggle to get yourself in the right mindset to want to play a game that I still enjoy playing. I love Elite Dangerous. There's a lot of stuff I do in Elite Dangerous on a weekly basis that, Horizons is probably the best version of it, and it doesn't really matter that we're not in Odyssey to me, because when it comes to the spaceship pew-pew side of it, I'm not really missing out on anything. The spaceships still fly as well as they do in Odyssey, they still fight as well as they do in Odyssey, they still pirate other people as well as they do in Odyssey, so ultimately, the game I want to play is still the game I was playing 2 months ago. It's just, obviously, it's difficult to find the motivation to play when you can see the updates that PC are going to get, and you're not going to get any of them. However, I am encouraged by the number of people still playing, that there is going to be some life left in Elite Dangerous on console, and hopefully that continues for a decent amount of time. There isn't anything on the horizon really that grabs me or makes me want to ditch Elite as my main game. I understand if my views drop off. I understand if doing console content after the company stopped doing console content might not be the most appealing thing out there, but as long as I get some views, some likes, I'll still pump out the videos, because it gives me something to do, and it raises some money for the rescue, so it's all to the good. I have fun making these videos. It gives me a motivation to play at times that sometimes, I've got to say, lately has been lacking. Well, since the news, you know, there's been a couple of days where I've just, you know, not. And when I got COVID the other day, I just binge watched Narcos instead. I could not cope with playing video games. I really couldn't. My brain just wasn't up for it. In fact, the night I came up here, I was whinging about being ill. I am the biggest wuss when it comes to being ill. I hate being ill. It drives me nuts. And I'm a complete pansy when it comes to being ill. I'll sit and I'll moan and I'll drink Lucozade and curl up in a ball and I'm going to die. It's basically my entire being ill process. So, you know, I might have got... Selfish One might have said to me something about being a snowflake and stuff, but, you know, I'll take it. I'm not worried. When it comes to being ill, you know, I'm terrible when I got man flu, let alone when I've got COVID. So, you know, must say, I have been really surprised with the response from different quarters of the community since the announcement that console was being stopped. There was a lot of, well, I'm not going to say a lot of, there was a lot of supportive people on PC, you know, that were like, I can't believe they've done that to you, yada yada yada. But there were a few that were like pulling the PC Master Race thing and saying how console had been holding back Elite for years and saying all that sort of thing. And okay, you know, you're free to think that, but they haven't been developing anything for console for a year, and so I don't think it's necessarily console's fault. I would say that, you know, it might not be the console's fault that you're, you know, that the game is not reaching its full potential. Let me just put that out there. I don't think the removal of console is going to greatly assist. As to whether console could handle Odyssey or not, the new consoles, the next gen consoles, are way above the minimum spec for Odyssey. They could easily handle it. Hilariously, if a Steam box can handle it, an Xbox One, what are they? Xbox Series X, I could definitely handle it. So, yeah, there was a few people making silly comments and saying, you know, console had done this, console had done that. What console did do is put a large amount of money into the coffers of FDev, which we used to, you know, develop some of the stuff in this game. As simple as that. I think FDev realised that they couldn't bring this to the old consoles. They looked at the population of the new consoles and decided there wasn't enough people on new consoles to warrant them making it for the new consoles. That's what I think happened, which I think is pretty short-sighted, because what they should have done is looked at the amount of people on console in total, because virtually everyone on console is waiting to get hold of a new console. There's very few people out there on an Xbox One thinking, I'm going to be on this for the next 5 years. You know, and if Elite was to go to the next console only, then I'm sure that people would have made that move. But, you know, FDev did their math. They decided that it wasn't worth doing, so that's what ended up happening. I feel kind of mean, because this was like a 4-on-2. So Dev was in an FDL, being ganged up on by two of us. Ration's being annoying by two other people back there. And, you know, when we kill Dev, we all go over and start bundling Ration. And, you know, and somebody in this fight had Healy beams and I got shot by them. It's one thing I really, really hate the use of. So it did quite annoy me that I was shot by them. It didn't make any difference really, because I was already like 92% shields in a 3,400 shield Mamba, and it's not like Ration was going to shoot me when he had Selfish 1.5 hull and somebody else he was shooting quite effectively. So it didn't make any difference, but it was still something that annoyed me. And after Ration jumps out, I got shot with them again, and I was like, please don't shoot me with those things, they're annoying. But overall, I had a fun little excursion, a little cameo at the CG, just to show I'm still alive, if slightly barely at the moment. But yeah, I don't tend to get involved that heavily on combat CGs because there's nobody to rob. But the new one this week is a double, it's two competing cargo ones in the same system, so that should be good. Apparently it's going to be a bit of a pain to pirate because there's a big distance from the star to the station. I haven't had a chance to have a look yet. I've not been playing a great deal, what with the COVID and other things going on. But, you know, yeah, it's just been one of those weeks so far. Really, just been one of those weeks. This was sort of the fun end of the evening, just the last gasp of the CG. There was a decent amount of people up here. Unfortunately for the lawfuls, there was a massively more decent amount of unlawfuls than there was lawfuls. You know, so at this one point Rasha was trying to get into instance with us and it wouldn't instance him, and it was like, are you sure there's like 10 people that are going to shoot at you here? So he came over in his Corvette, he got shot at by a lot of people and then left. I tell you, all of the fights I've been in when it's lawfuls v non-lawfuls, or, you know, cops v robbers or whatever, it's never even numbers. It's always like one side massively outnumbering the other. I think it's only about like 2 or 3 fights I've ever been in where I thought, hey, the sides were pretty even. That was decent. And in those cases, I tend to bring you the whole fight. There's a really good one once when the imps were attacking another squadron. The fights were very even, and yeah, it was quite good fun. But normally it's like one side massacring another. I did kill an imp. Later on, when everyone else had gone off, I was still patrolling the system looking for people to fight, and I found an imp guy. So I killed him for being an imp at the CG, and yeah, it didn't take long. He wasn't fully fit when I interdicted him, and all he did was try and run away. I don't know why he didn't high wake. You shouldn't really try and low wake on a Mamba when you're in an FDL, but I don't know, you know, what was going on in his cockpit.
Few moments later.
It didn't take long to blow him up, but it was after I blew him up I realised he was a member of the Fatherhood, and, you know, yeah, oh well. That's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and surprisingly, for once, I actually felt guilty about killing an imp, as shocking as that may actually be.